1-800-449-8255 on the incredibly fabulous, dynamic, principled Clark the Shark talk radio show, baby. #1 worldwide. And when I say #1, I mean it. I'm not just saying for artistic sake. I'm saying my fucking show's the best. I don't try to come on here like I'm intellectually superior, you guys. I am intellectually superior. And I know in the comment section, you know, they don't understand the Clark the Shark show, or maybe they do in their own little way, you know. I'm certain, you know, you guys, people aren't going to understand everything about this universe. I certainly don't. Me, Clark the Shark, from the fabulous golden EIB Sharkraphone. I don't know everything, you guys. I know there's people that they email me like, Shark, what do you think about, should I refinance this loan or something? Dude, I don't know, you guys. Don't go to me. I've done like 5 bankruptcies and like 6 foreclosed houses. So that's like fucking going to Donald Trump and getting financial advice from him would be about the same as from yours truly, Clark the Shark. And I'm when I say genius at the microphone, that's one thing, or the Sharkraphone, but put me in the kitchen, you know, the best you'll get out of me is like do the dishes, or I can't cook, you know, I can barely fucking crack an egg. I mean, I can if I'm desperate and I have to, or something. And there's nobody home and I need to eat, I can crack an egg and make bacon and toast. And maybe there's going to be little particles of like the egg shell and the fucking eggs. You know how that is. For some reason, when I crack an egg, you guys, I can't get all the white little fucking shell thingies out of the egg. Or I don't know why I'm unlucky with eggs. Me, Clark the Shark. But where I do get not lucky, actually skilled, is when and where I'm talking about David Bowie, you guys. And when I'm talking about Lodger, 1979, my favorite of the Berlin trilogy, you guys. I like Heroes, and then sometimes I'm not in the mood for it, like I don't really like it. Of course, I do like Low. And before that, Station to Station was just a breakthrough change for Bowie, where he reinvented himself away from Young Americans in 1975 and all that. And then he moved forward into this artistic phase of almost like electronic music or something, or electronic dance, or something weird that was way ahead of its time. It was almost like the 1980s. He could foresee it in 1976, 77, which isn't that hard to do. You know, all you got to fucking do is put on a drum machine or a big beat and watch the Jetsons. You know, the future is dancing, electronic beats and all that. It's not that hard to predict. I mean, we human beings, we make ourselves so easy to predict. A lot of people are like, well, Clark the Shark, you know, he predicts the future. I don't, you guys, and I don't think anyone else does 30, 40, 50 years ago. It's just that we humans are like just a step away from rodents or rats or something. We're not that far advanced, and we're not hard to predict what we're gonna do. And that's whether you're tall and good looking or short, or you're a criminal in the street, you know, like a stick-up man, or a guy at a bank who steals with a pen and a phone or some shit. Right here on the Clark the Shark Show. In the end, it's weird how we all end up the same. And there really are few geniuses amongst us, really. But one of them was certainly David Bowie and Lodger, this 1979 album. Now, I'm going to get into some murky territory here because I'm pissing on the parade of Jim Aviani, and a lot of people back in the South Bay where I'm from
Redondo Beach, Torrance. I know a lot of people knock me because they're like, you got to be East Coast if you want to be funny. You got to be from Jersey in New York. Clark the Shark, you haven't been through anything. You don't know. You guys, as I get more famous, I will reveal more about what happened to Clark the Shark in the South Bay. I'm not there yet. But it's heavy shit, you guys, and I will go into it when I got like 1,000 or whatever followers, or 2,000 or 1,000,000 someday. It's never going to happen because before I get anywhere, the liberal Democrats at YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, they will delete my account and ban me based on just some fucking nonsense that doesn't even exist. Copyright infringement that isn't, or putting links that they don't approve of under your video, or some mealy mouth bullshit, just some crap they make up on the spot, or they control whatever the atmosphere, you guys. They play God. The liberals at YouTube or all the social medias, they're like the guy who drops a snake into a glass aquarium, drops a mouse in with a venomous snake. And then it's kind of like God with us here in the Matrix, the universe. We're like that little mouse, and the guy on YouTube who makes money, we're sick, crazy, creepy people watch a mouse first envenomating or biting the snake bites the mouse, and then the mouse quivers and dies. It's kind of interesting to watch, I'll admit. But that will happen to all you liberals too eventually. What happens to that mouse in that cage with the snake could happen to you, liberal, in the next world to come with God Almighty. It'll certainly happen to conservatives who own properties and they make the rent $5,000 a month. You're no better than a liberal. You're just your own version of a communist, like a liberal. Let's just be perfectly honest and fair and clear here, right here on the Clark the Shark Show, where I'm talking about David Bowie, Lodger. And, you guys, I don't mean to sound all intellectual and super intelligent. And I don't want to say, oh, but I am. But when I'm talking about David Bowie, I am, you guys. And everyone in the South Bay, Torrance, Palos Verdes, Redondo Beach, Hermosa Beach, Lomita, Gardena, all around Manhattan Beach, they're like, there's no doubt about it. Nobody in the United States knows David Bowie like Clark the Shark Higgins does. There isn't a soul who does, and maybe not on planet Earth. I probably know more about David Bowie than David Bowie himself knows, you guys. I am fucking expert on David Bowie. So don't go to Lady Gaga or Dave Grohl. Don't fucking go to anyone who thinks they know David Bowie. Don't even go to Jim Aviani or anyone in the South Bay. They don't know David Bowie like me. And believe you me, there's fucking people that fucking know David Bowie well. But they don't collect all the bootlegs. They don't have the witness accounts of buying vinyls. Quite like yours truly, Clark the Shark, from the golden EIB Sharkerphone. It's not a microphone. It's not even humble, baby. It's solid gold, because I was buying Bowie vinyls at the Rhodium in Torrance. Sure, I was into Zappa, Captain Beefheart, and that shit, Iggy Pop, the Stooges, the MC5, all that shit, Black Flag. Fuck that. That's just mere humans making noise and putting it on vinyl or CD. David Bowie is beyond human or something, you guys. This guy's music was on some other level from everyone else, and that's why he became famous. He was so talented. His grovelly sandpaper voice is so unique and different from anything and everything. I mean, and it is really true, you guys. And that is how I, Clark the Shark, yours truly, gravitated towards listening to a lot of David Bowie downstairs at 251 Paseo de Gracia, Redondo Beach, Torrance, actually. 90277. The house is gone now, you guys. I know a lot of people drive by there. This is the home of Clark the Shark, the Greenhouse Effect, GE. And then there's some new mansion there. Let me tell a little story. If my sister Mary hadn't sold the fucking house or whatever she did, my mom was sick in a hospital bed at Providence Torrance Little Company of Mary Hospital, dying in 2011 or whatever. Or, she was just very sick, 2010, 2009. And my sister Mary and my brother Greg go into the hospital while my mother is basically very sick. Maybe on her deathbed, I'm not sure, but she was really sick. I think it was September 2009. And they got my mom to sign these documents out of her hospital bed at Torrance, Providence, Little Company of Mary Hospital. And dude, it's true. Don't get all mad and reach for your lawyer. I don't like this, that the state of California lets people do this with old senior citizens who have had strokes or dementia or aneurysms or there's cancer, or there's something wrong with them. It ain't fucking cool. Right here on the Clark the Shark Show. And it is a law that needs to be changed. All of the kids, if there's 5 kids or 10 kids, they all have to agree. Not one person taking it upon themselves and taking the initiative to put the senior citizen in a car, drive her to a bank and sign documents. Yeah, that's right. I'm talking to you, Inglewood douchebag, if you're listening. Now, this same process happened again with me, Clark the Shark. What happened to my mom, Joanne, with my sister Mary, then happened again. And I'm not going to name the people who did it nowadays, but I won't quit pursuing it here on the Clark the Shark Show, 1-800-449-8255. I don't like it when people take advantage of a poor old senior citizen and get her to sign documents. I believe in the old-fashioned shit where you get all 10 people, all the offspring siblings to agree. The family trusts the way it was meant to be. I've talked to the police, the FBI. They don't fucking give a shit. But me, Clark the Shark, I do right here on the Clark the Shark Show, and I won't give up. No way, baby. I'll talk about that in another video, but I'm talking about Bowie Lodger here and the intellectuals who know Bowie so well. I don't mean to offend you and all this. You guys can say like you know Bowie. I know there's people who do know Bowie well. You guys that collect bootlegs and rare recordings and shit going all the way back to whatever 1963, 64. But when I think about Bowie, I really don't even think about the Berlin trilogy. For me, Clark the Shark, that's the years that are way too late. And yet I do know those years too. For me, David Bowie is 1970, The Man Who Sold the World. I don't fucking care about Blake Douchebag's version. Or the 1969 Bowie album. It had many titles, Man of Music, whatever. That album's killer. And of course, Hunky Dory and all that. The early 70s shit. Right up through pinups and all that. Was good stuff. And me, Clark the Shark, I like Diamond Dogs. And the reason is, I know a lot of critics don't, but Bowie was trying something new there on that album. And he was actually becoming the real David Bowie with Diamond Dogs, 1974. Little important note there for you guys. I like Diamond Dogs much more than Young Americans, 1975. That being said, both albums are very interesting, you guys, but maybe not as interesting as later on in some weird, twisted way. Station to Station was a radical change, but then the Berlin trilogy was where he went to some weird new level. And maybe it wasn't his most commercially successful era of his music, but there's definitely something amazing going on there, and especially on this album, Lodger, 1979, which for me, Clark the Shark, is a huge improvement over Heroes. It is, you guys. Maybe equal to Low and Station to Station, or maybe not. But I love this album, you guys. I don't care what the stars say. It gets a long write up, which is surprising because I think a lot of people think of this album as a letdown, like it's one of Bowie's unknown or, forgotten albums or not one of his best. That's not true, you guys. All Music gives it a 4.5, and Blender gives it a 4, you guys. And well, they should. The Encyclopedia of Pop Music just gives it a 2 out of 5. See, that's what I'm talking about. A review like that one, Encyclopedia of Popular Music, is wrong. Chicago Tribune, 2.5 out of 4. That's wrong. Q, 4 out of 5. That's more right. Rolling Stone album guide of 5, probably wrong. It's not that great. See, Rolling Stone always gets it wrong even when they get it right, or right even when they get it wrong. They're, fuck them. Spin, 4 out of 5. That's about right, you guys, right here on the Clark the Shark show. Me, Clark the Shark, I'd give this a 4 out of 5. Out of 10, I'd give it an 8 something. You guys, like 8.2. I have to, you guys, because Fantastic Voyage, side 1, track 1, amazing song. A little underrated, for Bowie, co-written by Brian Eno. I love it, you guys. Fantastic Voyage should be more of a hit. Maybe the song could have been longer. It's only 2:55. Had this song been 3:30, it would have been better. It would have, you guys. I think so. African Night Flight is good. I like this whole album. Move On. Of course, fucking awesome. Bowie. Eno gets writing credit on African Night Flight. And, well, he probably should, The Assassin, interesting song. It's not one of my favorites, It's kind of repetitive. I hear it, and I'm like, it's kind of got this Turkish traditional arrangement, Yeah, Assassin. I get kind of sick of it, you guys. I'll admit it. But side 1 is interesting, and Red Sails, probably the best song on side 1, you guys. Bowie, co-written by Eno. You gotta love Red Sails. Awesome song, 3:43. And your opinion after side 1 will be, this album is good, solid. You might not say it's amazing or super great, like Low or one of those, or even Station to Station. But you're certainly going to be like me, Clark the Shark, and you're going to be like, this is better than the previous album, Heroes. That being said, there is huge hits and amazing songs on Heroes. It's just a Joe the Lion, and some of the shit I could do without, me, Clark the Shark. Who knows? I could be right or wrong. But DJ, this song, you guys, Bowie with Eno and Carlos Alomar. This attempts to be the hit song on the album. For a hit song, it's disappointing, but it's a killer song in general as a meat and potatoes, good, solid song where Bowie exclaims, I am a DJ, I am what I play. It's good, maybe it's not great like Changes or, something from Ziggy Stardust, but it's certainly one of those comeback, interesting songs that I like. Clark the Shark. Could have been better, I come away saying that, but I don't know if I can say that about Look Back in Anger. What a song. Bowie with Eno co-writing, 308. Look Back in Anger, one of Clark the Shark's favorite David Bowie songs. Boys Keep Swinging, interesting, good stuff, you guys. Side 2 will keep you interested. Repetition might seem repetitious to you, but I like it. Me, Clark the Shark. And if there's one song maybe I'm not wild about, it's Red Money, the final track, Bowie and Alomar. No Eno on Red Money. Interesting song. This album is more interesting than it is great. And it's more good and solid than it is like fabulous and incredible. And I think that's why, you guys, a lot of people, they something about the album where it doesn't get those accolades and acclaim and all that stuff that it deserves. It's the tempos are kind of up here, and the music is, you hear a lot of world influences. There's certainly some electronic and maybe some krautrock like the albums before it. But it's very catchy, melodic, atmospheric, ambient. It's beautiful music, you guys. I recommend that you listen to David Bowie Lodger a couple of times before you judge it. If you listen to this album once, you might not get it. I'm serious, you guys. And you might think, this is a disappointing David Bowie album. But it isn't. And the album cover shows, this is just part of it. It's an open gatefold when you bought this album. When I don't know if I bought an original of it. I may have got a reissue. But it shows Bowie like beaten up or something, or like laid out and then it shows like a postcard, like maybe he's worn out from the road, like being out touring is just kicking the shit out of him or something. This reminds me a little of Humble Pie, As Safe as Yesterday, this cover, where it's like a letter or Amazon or a mail he's sending to someone like, look at me, the road is kicking the shit out of me, or he was in the middle of a long tour or something. I always get that vibe, you guys. I don't know if it's that, you guys, but it looks like he's just beaten up, or, he's got a black eye and missing teeth, or he's laid out, like they're just about to put him on a stretcher or something. It's a really funny and ironic cover. I could have it all wrong. Maybe I don't even know what it means. But David Bowie Lodger is certainly one of those albums with me, Clark the Shark, that comes rocketing straight to mind when I think of great David Bowie. And I probably really shouldn't go so hard on Heroes, the album before it. And I maybe shouldn't love this album so much more, because really they are in reality kind of equal. It was the Berlin trilogy, you guys. Brian Eno, David Bowie, Carlos Alomar, all these guys, so many people just chiming in here, and important people on this album, you guys. I mean, all these people on this, even Adrian Belew, who Bowie cannibalized, like he stole Adrian Belew from Zappa. Once again, like he did with Ainsley Dunbar before. Sorry, Frank. The Thin White Duke just sells more albums or something. I don't know, and he can offer a bigger payday. I'm not quite sure, but I know Adrian Belew didn't last super long playing with David Bowie, you guys, but Eno was around for a bit. I'm going to review Brian Eno and David Byrne, My Life in the Bush of Ghosts, because that's one of my favorite albums, you guys, and I want to review some Brian Eno solo too. It's important. And of course, with Roxy Music, where Brian Eno doesn't last very long either. This guy's just too much of a genius, doing his own thing. He also participated in Genesis, Selling England, not Selling England, but The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway has some Brian Eno on it. Little tidbit there for you from Clark the Shark, and all these people. Dennis Davis, drummer, Alomar, of course, George Murray, bass. They all play a role here, you guys, in David Bowie. Certainly on this album, perhaps on other Berlin Trilogy albums, you guys. But this one is my favorite. Me, Clark the Shark, 1-800-449-8255 from the fabulous, amazing Golden EIB Sharker phone, you guys, where it's fucking incredible here. It feels great doing and being the Clark the Shark show for all of you, because I need you to come here and learn about these great albums, especially if you're a young person. You're only 15 right here in 2024. You were born a long time after 9/11. I think you were born in 2009. That's 8 years after 9/11, when those terrorists flew those jets into our World Trade Center Twin Towers and destroyed them. You're very young, 2009 birth. You're only 15 here in 2024. You're the person I want to get into David Bowie, Lodger, and all the Berlin trilogy and all of David Bowie. You guys, it's important. Before you get into Frank Zappa, before you get into Captain Beefheart, before you get into Iggy Pop, the Stooges, the MC5, I think it's important that you learn thoroughly about David Bowie, because it's going to give you that edge when you're at school and you meet up with your own version of Jim Aviani and you want to talk some musical chops. You got to be ready and prepared. You got to come to me, Clark the Shark, and learn. You do, young person. Don't fucking go to who the media says to go to. Fuck all that shit, dude. Don't go to Dave Grohl or any of that fucking shit, Miley Cyrus, Taylor Swift, or any of that. They don't know, you guys. They're just robots or AI brained. I don't know what the fuck they are. And usually their music fucking sucks, you guys. Listen to my music. If you want to hear reality, if you want a big slap upside your head of what the earth is really all about, listen to GE, Clark the Shark, Greenhouse Effect. You probably already do. I know you do. If you're smart, you do. One of the surest ways to know someone's full of shit is they say Clark the Shark is full of shit. That's a red flag, baby, that they don't know shit. Right here on the dynamic, sophisticated, beautiful Clark the Shark Show, where I just gave you the only review of this electronic, ahead of its time David Bowie album Lodger that is so fucking weird, so twisted, and yet kind of commercial, danceable, listenable, you guys. It's more than just electronic music. I know the critics call it that. It is not that, you guys. Listen to this and judge it for yourself. It's melodic, atmospheric. It is important music. Of the Berlin trilogy, it's the most important, you guys. I think so. Me, Clark the Shark. And it's going to be important out there to make sure when you're talking about David Bowie that you know about Lodger, Heroes, Scary Monsters, Low, Station to Station. Those 5 albums, those aren't the order, by the way, you guys, but those 5 albums are David Bowie. That being said, they're not the best of David Bowie, you guys. I know Angie Bowie hates those albums, his former wife, and she says, oh, only the first 7 or 8 are great and the rest suck. That's not true, you guys. These albums are great in their own way. They're just a little more artistic and twisted. Like me, yours truly, Clark the Shark, your humble servant from the golden EIB Sharkerphone. It's not a microphone because it's bigger than Hannity. It's smoother than Howard Douchebag or Eminem. It's more important than Hush Bimbo or Michael Wiener. His name is Wiener, you guys. Quit calling him Savage. He's a fucking wiener. It's better than Mario Lopez, Rick Dees, Kevin and Bean, or Mark and Brian, or Kevin and Stryker. Dude, Kevin, get a fucking gig, for crying out loud. How do you go from fucking K-Rock to KLOS? I mean, come on, dude. Find a fucking niche. 1-800-449-8255. But I want all of you to find David Bowie, Lodger, 1979, because it really is one of Clark the Shark's favorite albums. This is so damn interesting an album, you guys. You got to listen to it. And when you do listen to it, play it once, wait 3 hours, go play it all again, and then wait 3 hours, and then go play it all again. This will become your favorite David Bowie album. I'm not kidding. It is so damn interesting, you guys. I love it. I'm out of here, people. Peace.